Hey guys, I've been reflecting on the incline laps from this last weekend and what I wanted to say about them, how I've been feeling about them, and what tangible thing I could share from the emotional process. And I just keep coming back to people and the importance of having your own people, the importance of building a community. I keep coming back to this chain of motivation, this wildfire of inspiration, and what happens when we have people around us who are willing to show up and put in the work. Now, on paper, I have a plan on how I'm going to get these 40 laps in before I turn 40, right? This weekend, I knocked off 2 more. Now I have 7 to go, with the last happening on September 11th, my 40th birthday. So really, 6 more laps between now and September 10th. Everything's mapped out, the days are there. Technically, I just need the discipline to follow through. Stick to the paper, stick to the plan, put one foot in front of the other. Do that enough times and I'll hit the goal. But when the plan moves from paper into reality and it's stacked up against the weight of your week, your physical health, your mental health, and everything you've been carrying, and then your alarm goes off at 2 o'clock in the morning, discipline doesn't feel like enough. I hate waking up at 2 a.m. I like mornings, but 2 a.m. is ridiculous. And I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I am not a nice person at that hour. I'm angry, I'm grumpy, I'm a little mean, unless you're one of my babies. And then I will absolutely take care of you. But getting up at 2 a.m. by choice, I'm just not having it. I'm happy and kind. I'm grateful and loving and gracious and optimistic and motivating. After 5 a.m. So waking up at 2 a.m. to get ready, drive, park, and then hike the incline to see the sunrise, I'm really over dramatic about it. I'm a mom to 2 young kids. I own a business that requires physical labor. I commute a lot. I'm already operating on less sleep than I should be. Even when I go to bed early, waking up at 2 a.m. is just bonkers. So Sunday morning, I just needed more than discipline. I needed my people. There was 3 people who were trying to meet me at the incline. Season was my for sure. If I didn't get out of bed, I wasn't just bailing on myself anymore. I was bailing on a friend. There was another woman visiting from Washington, D.C. who wanted to tackle the incline before heading home, and she wanted to join me. And then there was Cindy, someone I'd never met before, but she had reached out to me online about joining me as well. And suddenly getting out of bed wasn't just about keeping a promise to myself. There were these real connections attached to it. So I put on my big girl pants, got to the mountain, and then the circle just kept getting bigger. I saw my friend Lindsay. I saw Gary, already multiple laps into his day. I saw Scott starting his morning on the mountain before heading into work. Everybody, different goals, different motivations, same mountain. I ran into Martin. He hasn't done a double in a long time and wasn't necessarily planning on doing one that day. But on his way down, he was going back and forth. Maybe the gym instead. Maybe I'll do it another day. Maybe one was enough. But he also knew that I'd been putting in some doubles lately. We talked. I gave him a little push. And when he got to the bottom, he turned around, came back up. And then there was Trissa. I haven't seen her out there in forever. She's a competitive high rocks athlete. So the incline looks very different for her than it does for me. She passed me going up. She passed me coming down. She was for sure only doing 1 lap. But she sees me out there digging. She knows what I'm working towards. And somehow she caught a little spark from it. She got to the bottom. She turned around too. Maybe Martin inspired her. Maybe I did. Maybe there's 10 other things happening that I don't even know about. And that's kind of the point. Right? We don't always know how far our little piece of someone else's motivation travels. And then there's Season, the person who got my grumpy butt out of bed in the first place. She was recently cleared for full workouts again after her surgery. She had plenty of reasons to stay home, but she showed up. And because she showed up, I showed up. Cindy showed up too. I'm not at 4 a.m. because, as previously established, that time of morning is just subhuman. She delayed instead of bailing, and I love that. Because showing up doesn't always have to happen exactly the way that you planned it. Sometimes showing up at all is the win. And while I was sitting there outlining this, I got a comment on one of my older posts from somebody that I'd passed on the mountain. They were heading up, I was coming down. Apparently I gave them a few words of encouragement as we passed. I don't even remember who these people are. I don't remember doing it. I know that I try to encourage as much as I can, but they remembered. They remembered me, they remembered the words, and they carried that little bit of energy farther up the mountain with them. How cool is that? Sometimes we show up because we're strong. Sometimes we show up because we're being disciplined. Sometimes we show up because somebody is waiting for us and we refuse to bail on them. Sometimes we're halfway up and somebody says exactly what we need to hear. Sometimes we watch somebody else turn around for another lap and think, well, damn, I guess we're doing this now too. But really, the win is that we're showing up. And not just so that we can say that we were there. We're showing up to put in the work, whatever that work looks like for each of us. I mean, look at all of us in these pictures. Different bodies, different ages, different goals, different fitness levels, different reasons for being on that mountain. There's absolutely no point in comparing any of it. Trista's hard doesn't have to look like my hard. Martin's work doesn't have to look like my work. Season's climb doesn't have to look like Cindy's climb. And mine doesn't have to look like anyone else's. We just have to show up. Individually and for each other. Because inspiration is a little bit like a wildfire. Each one of us is carrying around a little spark. Someone lights something in me. I carry it onto the mountain. Maybe I light something in Martin. Martin turns around and lights something in Trista. Someone I've never met hears a few words from me on the stairs and carries that encouragement and inspiration farther up the mountain with them. And then they take that fire back to their people, and it spreads. And that's community. And maybe that's part of why God never asked us to do all this alone. We're supposed to help each other. We're supposed to help carry each other's burdens. And I've spent so much of my life believing that strength meant being able to carry everything by myself. But God keeps showing me something different. And I don't have to wake up at 2 a.m. overflowing with motivation. I don't have to manufacture enough strength. I don't have to pretend that discipline is always enough. Some mornings it's my community that gets me out of bed. Somewhere along the way, maybe I help someone else on their climb. Underneath all of that, I know where my help comes from. It's not just my legs. It's not just discipline. It's not whatever strength I can find within myself. I know that God gives me the strength. And sometimes He gives us the strength through other people. The goal isn't to become so strong that you never need anyone. It's to surround yourself with people who will carry a little bit of the weight when you're weak and be willing to do the same when it's their turn. So keep showing up. Keep putting in your version of the work. Keep carrying your little spark, because you have absolutely no idea who might need your light today or how far they're going to carry it once you give it to them. So stay safe. Stay blessed. I'll see you next time.